Angelic Prehistory. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Genesis 1:1. The creation of angels. At some undisclosed time following his creation of the heavens and the earth, God created the angels. Psalm 148, 2-5, and Colossians 1:16. That is to say, at some specific point between the original creation of Genesis 1:1 and the restoration of the earth described in Job 38, 4-7, which followed God's judgment of Satan, God created all angelic kind. He created them holy, Deuteronomy 33:2, Psalm 89:7, Mark 8:38, and Luke 9:26, giving each of them distinct duties and definite domains in which to exercise their delegated authority, Colossians 1:16, Ephesians 6:12, Hebrews 1:7-14, and Jude 6. The realm of angels. The realm of angels is often assumed to be the heavens, and to a certain degree this is true, at least at this present time. They are often called heavenly hosts. 1 Kings 22:19, Psalm 103, 20 and 21, 148, 2, and Luke 2:13. Angels are invariably present on the heavenly scene. 1 Kings 22:19, Job 1:6 and 7, 2, 1 and 2, Luke 15, 7 and 10, and Revelation 5:11. And angels are often identified with the stars of heaven. Job 38:7, Isaiah 14:12 and 13, 40:26, and Revelation 1:20 and 9, 1 and 2. Since elsewhere in Scripture stars are literally stars, it is likely that this designation is a reference to angelic spheres of authority. Fallen angels, for example, are termed wandering stars in Jude 13, in a comparison to false teachers where the reference to blackest darkness, reserved forever, recalls the lake of fire in supernatural darkness prepared for the devil and his angels. Compare Matthew 8:12. This term is reminiscent of their failure to keep their own domain, that is, choosing to interfere with human affairs in Satan's behalf. They abandoned their ordained heavenly realm. Jude 6. The three heavens. What exactly is meant then by heaven? When we speak of the heavens in biblical terms, we are referring to the threefold division of the cosmos beyond the earth, the earth's atmosphere, the sky, the universe at large, that is, space, the third heaven, the abode of God, or simply heaven as it is customarily termed. The Hebrew word for heavens is shamayim, a noun whose form is significantly dual in number, that is, two of something as opposed to a single unit or multiple units beyond a pair. The dual of the Hebrew word shamayim perfectly reflects the reality of the two distinct parts of the heavens, sky and space, in one continuum. We may refer to these as the first heaven, the atmosphere, and the second heaven, the universe beyond earth, respectively. However, in verse 14 of Genesis chapter 1, the rakia, or firmament, is now the place of the sun, moon, and stars. Significantly, the exact Hebrew terminology used in verse 14 is rakia hashamim, firmament of the heavens. The difference is a substantial one, for it suggests that these shamayim, or heavens, are in some sense distinct from those referred to earlier. From our earthly perspective as we look up at the night sky today, and how much more so in 1400 BC, the heavens that surround us, that is, the atmosphere, and the heavens above, that is, space, or the universe, appear as one continuum. The dual of the Hebrew word shamayim perfectly reflects this reality of two distinct elements, sky and space, in one continuum. These are the first heaven, the atmosphere, and the second heaven, the universe beyond earth, respectively and collectively. The third heaven, on the other hand, is the abode of God. In 2 Corinthians 12, 2-4, the Apostle Paul describes a man snatched up to this third heaven. In verse 4, the location is also referred to as paradise, a word which in biblical terms suggests the presence of and fellowship with God. This third heaven is also referred to in the Old Testament as the Shemi Shamayim, heavens of the heavens, a Hebrew idiom for highest heavens, Deuteronomy 10:14 and Psalm 148:4. Thus, in the Bible, all three parts or levels of the heavens, the sky, the universe, and the abode of God, can be and often are called heaven, individually and collectively, without the various authors of Scripture feeling any need to distinguish the three, as this concept of the threefold division of the Shemayim was apparently well understood in biblical times. Angels are capable of entering all three sections of the heavens, but a word must be said at this point about their reasons for doing so. The operational sphere of angels. For a variety of reasons, for example, their occasional association with the stars and their apparently hierarchical organization, we conjecture that angels have spheres or authority and certain duties in the second heaven, the universe at large, although the Scriptures do not provide an exhaustive account of these. We know more about their journeys to the first heaven and their ministrations on God's behalf to mankind in the case of the elect angels, or their attempts to carry out Satan's designs against mankind in the case of the fallen angels. These ministries and satanic operations will be treated more fully in Part 4 of this series, but suffice it say at this point that angels are actively conducting operations here on earth, although it is not at present their primary sphere. Jacob's vision of the famous ladder, which revealed multitudes of angels ascending to heaven and descending to earth, illustrates clearly enough that the elect angels do not remain upon the earth at all times, but rather return to heaven at certain intervals. Genesis 28:12. Even Satan, described in Ephesians 2 as the prince of the power of air, that is, the ruler whose realm of authority is the atmosphere. Greek, air, referring to the first heaven, and thus stressing his temporary limited authority over the earth, does not remain here at all times, but on specified occasions assembles with the other angels in the presence of God, the third heaven, Job 1:6 and 2:1. Angelic assembly before and fellowship with God in the third heaven is important and revealing. It should not be surprising that, in addition to their actions here on earth and in the universe at large, the angels are frequently to be found in the presence of the Lord. For they are his angels, Genesis 28:12, 32, 1, Psalm 103:20, and Matthew 26:53, and logically therefore assemble where he is, Deuteronomy 33:2, 1 Kings 22:19, Job 1:6, 2, 1, Psalm 82, 1, 89, 5 and 7, and Matthew 18:10, to worship, serve and attend him, 1 Kings 22:19, Daniel 7:10, and Revelation 5:11 and 12. The angels, the elect ones at any rate, have always and will always follow this pattern, even with the return of the Trinity to earth at the end of human history, Hebrews 12:22 and Revelation 21:12. Therefore, what determines the place of angelic assembly is not the particular level of heaven, but rather the presence of God. And just as the elect angels always assemble in his presence, so when this present short and temporary era we call human history is concluded, believing humanity will likewise assemble in the presence of the Lord for all eternity. After all, the Greek word ecclesia, which we translate church, means assembly. This place of assembly will ultimately be the new earth, and specifically the new Jerusalem, Revelation 21 through 22. What is most pertinent to our current study is that the original place of angelic assembly was likewise not in heaven, but rather on the pristine, original earth. Eden, the original home of angels and ultimate home of elect mankind. Eden is most commonly associated with the garden in which God placed Adam and Eve. And while Adam and Eve's Eden was certainly one Eden, it was neither the first nor the last paradise, as is obvious from passages such as Ezekiel 28:13, Luke 16:19 through 31, 23:43, 2 Corinthians 12:4, and Revelation 2:7 and 22:2. Etymology. As far as meaning is concerned, paradise and Eden are functionally almost synonymous. Respectively, Eden is the Old Testament and paradise the New Testament term for the place of the pleasurable presence of God. Eden, Hebrew Eden, means pleasure or delight. In a similar way, paradise, Greek paradisos, a Persian word first used in Greek by the historian Xenophon, meant originally the king's private preserve, a unique and delightful place. Thus, it was quite a natural thing to substitute the term paradise as a Greek equivalent to the Hebrew phrase, the Garden of Eden or delight. What then is so pleasurable about Eden paradise? Nothing less than the presence of God, in whom is all joy and delight, Psalm 21:6, 27:4-6, and 84:10.